thoughtful disagreement. And the mediator is a very important role so that you play. Because principles, one of the handy things is if you're having a disagreement, one of you might be wrong. And how do you know? And how do you get past that? And so the classic thing is to agree on somebody who you mutually agree will be a fair judge and a fair mediator. And if you mutually agree on that person, then you bring them, then they can help you along. And the exercise of going above it and saying, okay, here's this disagreement, and how do we deal with disagreement and are each other related to the disagreement? That is a good perspective to have.
Yeah.
And so I think that as we look at all those things, I think that it's so clear that approaches like that and perspectives like that are very, very helpful. Understand what others like. It defines, I think there's an emotional reaction to disagreeing.
Yes.
That's so stupid. Okay? If one could calm oneself down and understand the art of thoughtful disagreement, the capacity to see how others see things, and to then understand those differences, it's enlightening, because once you understand yourself and you understand what others like, it defines your path and also your relationships with others.
Hello, welcome to Unspoken-Podcast. I'm your host, Zado Kadile, and we hope to engage you in a wonderful topic this evening. Yes, from the clip you've watched, our topic today is the art of disagreeing, conflict resolution with older adults. Conflict resolution for some people might just be to air things out, to listen, to try and smoothen things out. But is that all to conflict resolution? Well, as usual, I've got my team with me to discuss this topic and, blow it up and share our opinions. Welcome, sir.
Yes. My name remains Dr. Chukuma. Thanks for bringing me on.
You're welcome, sir.
I'm Apapa Bamidele. I'm happy to be here.
You're welcome.
And I'm Oyetunji Tunolua, and also glad to always be present here.
All right. So let's start from you, Ituno. Yes.
Okay.
What does it mean? What does disagreement mean to you?
Well, disagreement, like the word, is just not having aligned thoughts, or you having a different opinion to what the other person has. That's like the simple definition of what disagreement is. And in this case, when we talk about disagreement, it happens practically every time. It happens because we are humans, and we probably are brought up a different way, or you've been exposed to some kind of teachings, some kind of values, some kind of people. So you then start developing a different opinions, different thoughts about how a thing should go, like how the culture should be done, how a life should be, how I want to live my life in career-wise, how I want to do my thing. It's being different from others. So it's just, it's normal. Disagreement is very normal in our day-to-day life. So it's not a bad thing. So disagreement, I feel it's a normal thing.
That's a normal thing.
Yeah.
So Bamdori, for you, disagreement, the art of disagreement, don't forget now, in this context, conflict resolution with older adults.
Okay, so personally, I do believe that disagreements are bound to happen, and this is because we can't all have the same ideas, and everybody is entitled to their own opinions. And in as much as it is so, not everybody can agree with what I say personally. So my own opinions may differ from Itunu's opinions. It may differ from pastor's opinions. So it doesn't necessarily mean that other opinions are wrong. It might not just align with my own perspective or values about a certain matter. So it happens. Then conflict resolution with older adults. Being the fact that we are in a generation where nobody really wants to grieve for anybody, show yourself, no grief for anybody and all that, the agreement is actually bound to happen. The reason is because there is so much gap between the generation now and those that have gone before us. So definitely we cannot agree on the same things. Truth to the fact that certain principles are the same or will forever remain the same, that doesn't necessarily mean that ideas will be the same. That doesn't necessarily mean that way of life would be the same, because things change every day. So it happens. It will happen. It will happen.
All right, sir. So now, disagreement now. In the context now, from your view to the Gen Zs, to the Gen Alphas that we have now, how do you cope, especially with those you have at home?
Well, I want to say we also had these problems with those, older than us.
Yes.
Is something that will continue to happen. In fact, I will say that there is this situation that I think will explain better. Okay, a young man, a friend of mine got married, and the mother-in-law is a traditional person, while he believes to go orthodox, go to the hospital, run a test and all that. But the mother-in-law will want to say, oh, no, I've handled this case before. Let's put kaffir inside water and give the baby to drink. And the guy will say, no, and the mother-in-law took it as a disrespect. Do you understand? I've handled kids. You are the age mate of my last, you married my last born. I've even taken, well, this is how we do it. But the boy is saying no. Now, it's a disagreement. And it actually cut deep into the relationship between him and his wife. So what I want to say is that not just between, the Gen Z is fine. It happened between us and those before us. So I would say that the most important thing is for us to know how to make our case, okay, so that the older person doesn't feel disrespected. But I still want to say that no matter how careful you are, you will still wrong, some people. For instance, the case I just, explained, how could he doesn't want his baby to be given all these,
without proper diagnosis.
No, yes, and you should allow him. He's his baby. Yes, he's your grandchild, but he is the one that is responsible. Or God or the government or whoever wouldn't call you to give account of that baby. So what I'm trying to say is that no matter how good, there are some people that you will still find it difficult to deal with,
Okay.
Yep.
Now, in the African context, right? Now, how do you sometimes get what you want from your dad?
Well, I like that question because it's very practical, and it's just understanding, number one, who your dad is, and understanding, you understand that adults have egos, and you as a younger person, you don't want to come off as being disrespectful. So, and you also want to get things done. It's a very dicey situation because growing up, you might not understand how to go by it, and most of the time, sometimes I go through my mom because probably she's more progressive in thinking, and you can tell her because of how women are closer to their kids. So I can tell mom, okay, this is what I want to do, explain to her, and she would know how to relay it to my dad. And probably they won't give me what I really want, but I will get something that at least is closer to what I want, maybe not totally, or if my idea is very good, though my dad is not someone that's very
Traditional?
is not very he's traditional, but not because he been learning and mixing with people and all. But I would say growing up, it wasn't always easy to get to be able to talk to him because of how traditional he was. But as he was growing older and as he was meeting other people and seeing newer cultures, right now he's not in the country, he's somewhere, is in the Western world, which is way different. So it has opened his eyes to total things I wouldn't be able to talk to him about. We are having conversations like father and son. But before you have a conversation with him, you have to have given it so much thought. Look for ways to not disrespect him. But it's like you said, I don't know if my way would work for another person, but it's just understand the basic principle about this is understanding who you're talking to, the adults you're trying to talk to, and finding a way to get not being disrespectful, but finding a way, maybe talking to someone that can help you talk to them, maybe trying to let them see where you're coming from. When I want to talk to when I want to get something from him, I always have the mind that probably I might not get this thing, but let me try. I might not get it, but let me try. I always have that as in the back of my mind, so I wouldn't feel disappointed or feel wrong or something. So I will go tell him, and if I listen, most young people these days don't want to listen. They don't really want to listen because these adults too, they also have a reason for telling you no at some point. But because of the fact that you are so bent on what you want to get, you do not listen from their side. From me listening from his own point of view, I can now find a bridge to, okay, let's bridge this. Because you just have to be smart with it. You know you're talking to a smart father. You also have to be smart with it. He's coming from an angle, you are coming from an angle, so you know that he will not allow your own angle to override his own, and you also want to get something from him. So you have to find a bridge around it that both of you can benefit from and be like, okay, this is, you get yours, I got mine. So that's it.
All right, striking a balance. So,
Yeah.
Bamdili, has your dad ever apologized to you before?
Apologize for what? What was you?
Probably you had this conversation, you were trying to make your input, and your input was discarded, and probably you had second thoughts and thought of it. I'm like, let me call this young man and apologize to him. Probably I bashed him too hard. Probably I didn't allow him speak up the way he's supposed to speak up. He's a man. He's meant to have his opinion heard.
Okay, apology is, I believe, is a stretch because I don't think he would actually call me, oh, sorry. He can just say, okay, you know, there is a way you can be diplomatic, and you just be like, okay, what is that thing that you even told me that you want to do again? Okay, let's give an assumption now. I want to get a car, for example, and he has his own car, but I believe that probably this car that he has is like old-fashioned, and I want something more Gen Z, so to say. So and it's like, you cannot have this car, you know, the normal bash from the start. Then, you know, I go my way, and he calls me back and he's like, okay, what did you say you want to even get? What do you even want to use that car for and all this kind of thing? Okay, instead of getting this one, can we get something else? So
so he negotiates with you.
He negotiates, but apologies is not. When he apologizes,
It's
but
not in his
just
character,
in
the
that
traditional
way.
African parent.
It's not in the
I don't
African
think,
context.
yeah.
Why is it? Okay,
It's not.
now,
You see,
why
I
do
had a
African
good laugh about
fathers
it.
don't apologize? Why? Why is that African fathers find it hard to apologize?
Well, I would say it's a culture thing.
So our culture doesn't permit them to apologize. Not just fathers now.
Not
It's not that elders don't
that I'm
apologize, even when they are
listen,
wrong.
Not that I'm supporting it, okay, because I'm trying to change the, will I say, narrative now. I intentionally make sure that if I discover that my children, especially my first boy, if I discover that, it's like I didn't, give him a chance, or like maybe he's saying, I will call him and say, I will make sure that So
you use the word "I'm sorry"?
Yes.
You do that?
But I never got that from my father anyway. So I'm just trying to tell you, do you understand? I'm just trying to agree with him. If apology,
Apologize for what?
But
because I believe he believes that he is right.
He probably, yes, he is right, but probably the way he handled it, he probably just bashed my feeling. He bashed my self-confidence,
I think it's more like a feminine nature. Sorry. But I believe,
so?
like, for a man to say I'm sorry to his fellow guy, I think it takes a lot.
What I'm saying is that in our culture, we don't get that. We don't have that. Okay. In fact, there was a time I did that. By the time I would look, I saw that my boy is smiling. So this guy, you can. He's smiling. So, and we should encourage it. We should encourage it because, if you want your child or your boy to be a better person, you should show him by living that way of life. Okay, I want my boy to be kind, to be respectful, not just to people, but to his own wife. Okay, so I want to change the culture. I want to show him that as a man, he doesn't belittle you, he doesn't reduce you if you say I'm sorry, not just to your mates, but even to your son.
But the culture says as a man, you dominate. You speak and they listen.
Yeah, please.
Well, I think it's not only African. It's just that this progressiveness gets to Africa later than the Western world.
I think we take our time before we adapt.
Yeah, before we adapt. So I can even in the Western world before, if you watch all these very old movies, you don't see men apologizing to their kids. Very old Western culture, I don't think so. But as time goes on, they start seeing that you need to lead by example, like Pastor said. You need to let them know that when you feel you've wronged someone, you should apologize to the person. But then in the African context, it's just getting, you see that he said he didn't experience it with his own parent, but the children are experiencing it. So it's a new way of life. It's harder to, it's very hard. I can't even like, when I still my younger ones now, like when I feel I've wronged them, it takes courage to say, I am sorry. And so they don't see you as being weak or see you as being too soft. Yeah, but then you find a way around it to make them know that, okay, this is what I'm trying to let you know, but how I handled it was wrong, but I'm sorry. So let's.
If I may, sir, yes. I also believe that some people actually say sorry without actually saying it.
Yeah.
The idea of my father calling me back to even listen to me is somewhat an apology.
Yep.
Because that means he actually wants to hear my own point of view. And actually, it's not even the sorry I'm after. I'm after you listening to me.
No, it's not about the sorry now. It's the thing is this now. It's one of the things I've learned is mutual respect, right? And okay, maybe from my background, actually, the kind of relationship I have with my dad is we go on first name basis, right? So most times when I speak to my dad on phone, people don't even know I'm speaking to my dad because I just call him by his first name. I just call Mr. So how far now? How you doing? How's your wife? Like, it will be, on the other hand, you'll be responding, your mother is fine. How are you doing? How's your body? Is everything okay? Like, I'm good. And then we have this conversation and then we talk for long, right? Now, what he's taught me growing up is the same thing I've learned and the same principles I apply to all my relationships is this. Now, my dad does this thing where he allows you make your case on any particular thing. If there's an issue, right, or there's a decision to be made, he will allow you make your case. He will allow you do the pros and the cons. But this is what he will let you know. There are consequences for every action you take. So think it through. So before I make any contribution, if I will at all, right, I would have thought it through my mind. I would think from this point of view. I know how my dad think. I think from his point of view. Okay, I know my mom. Okay, I'll think from my mom's point of view. So I use those three angles. I'm like, okay, so what's the best position to take in this particular place? So that as much as possible now, this is, for me, in doing that, I've learned to take positions, consider things from various angles, identify the risk, transfer the risk if it's possible, avoid if it's possible, mitigate when I cannot transfer or avoid. But it's helped me in a particular with my relationships. I don't see anything wrong in apologizing to anybody. Now, what I will not take from anybody is for you to just tell me sorry without meaning it. It's better you don't apologize than you apologize without meaning it. Now, if you're going to apologize to me, it's just, hey, Zadok, I'm sorry because I'm this. I know you did not like, you don't even need to use the word sorry. Like, I know you did not like the way I brushed you off the other time, but you were not listening. I had to do that to get your attention. Now that you are listening, this is the reason why. See, most times it is, I'm sure every one of us wants to hear the reason why.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you brush me off without giving me the reason why, you understand? It's in the back of my head that what's wrong with this person. Sometimes you begin to ask yourself, who do you even think you are for you? But when you explain to people, when you give the people the reason why you do certain things, you'll see that over time you have less conflict with them. Because they know that if this man says no at this particular time, voila, he go call me, he go reason me reason why. If you're not talking at that point, but he go call me, he go reason me.
No, sorry, sir. Like, I understand what you're trying to say, but I want to, like, redo this, like, because upbringing is very important in this case, because they were brought up in a different setting.
Yes.
They were brought up in, and I don't want to compare the African way of life to the Western way of life.
Yeah.
We have our way of life over here. And I know it's easy for me to say, oh, you should apologize and all. But then, like he said, what is the essence of the apology if if it's not heartfelt? He will call him back and say, okay, what do you say you need, and let's discuss it. I think that's like an apology in itself. So apologizing, saying, okay, sorry, I don't think
though I will also take it a step further, that in their generation, that is an apology, but in our generation, it shouldn't be. Okay, you should apologize, you should use the
words properly.
Do you understand?
Okay.
Like I said, I never got that from my father, calling me and saying, so sorry for what? You know? Okay, but then he can get you something, to
show.
But in what we are trying to do now, I'm just saying that we should do the proper thing. Yeah, apologize when we should.
All right. There are some thoughts that we want us to pursue, but we will do that after the break.
Did you know that conflict resolution is a competency and not a skill? So, communication, that's a skill. Listening is a skill. And believe it or not, empathy is a skill. But conflict resolution and conflict management, these require mastery of multiple skills. So you have to do all of those things and more reasonably well in order to solve problems. And this is why when people say to me, Ryan, I want you to help me build my conflict resolution skills, the first question I ask them is, well, which one? Do you want to communicate more clearly, listen more deeply, connect authentically? You want to manage your timing, regulate your emotions more effectively? Like, which skill are we talking about? Because you need to know which skill you're struggling with, and you need to build that skill up individually before trying to combine it to resolve conflict. If you're great at communicating, but you're a terrible listener or you have zero empathy, your conflict resolution skills will probably be trash. So get clear on where you're struggling most and start reinforcing that one skill area. Get really good at it, and then combine it with other skills that you're already good at. That's how you build your conflict resolution competency. We love to tell people about themselves during conflict. We want them to accept blame for their bad actions, and there's time for that. It just isn't at the beginning of a conflict conversation. Instead of trying to make someone accept blame, I always tried to make them feel safe. Like, I wanted them to feel respected and honored, even if they had behaved dishonorably. Now, I know many people watching this don't want to be honoring to dishonorable people, but hear me, I'm not saying you have to love on them, but I am saying that constructive conversations can't take place in destructive environments. So you might have to build someone up before you try to bring them back down to reality. And consider this, most people who do bad things still consider themselves to be good people. They know that they'll eventually have to pay for their bad actions, but by me not being explicitly accusatory, I avoided evoking feelings of guilt, shame, defensiveness in the other person, and that made it more likely that they would hold themselves accountable voluntarily instead of responding to the pressure that I placed on them. Now, will this work in all cases? No, but if it works in an interrogation room, it'll probably work in your living room or in a boardroom, so just try it.
Welcome back. So from the clips, I just want to ask you a simple question. How do I, from my generation now, how do I have a disagreement with you that wouldn't come across as being disrespectful?
Number one, I would say that we should look at timing when you come to me, when you bring the issue up with me. Mm-hmm. And again, I would say that we should also, maybe I should use this as an example. Excuse me. Yes. I'm from a place where we don't get married outside our locality, our town. In fact, all the towns around, they make jest of us that we marry from this, from our town. So when I discovered that I was going to get married to a Yoruba lady, I knew it was going to be a war. My immediate elder brother that married from a local government that is 45 minutes from my town, they said, no, you are not going there. In fact, he had to, So when you marry, so I had to, number one, I prayed. I was born again already, so I had to pray for divine wisdom. So then I take my time. Like he said, I went through my elder sister. I presented it to her. So she now told me, okay, go and tell your elder brother this, and this. Excuse me. So I took that step. And I let him know that she said something. She said, tell him that it's not about the will of God, that what you say, if you say, make I go, if you say, make I no go. So when I put that one on his neck, how can this guy put me on the same plane with God? I say, no, wahala. If our mother said she's good with it, no problem. So I now went to my mom. My mom said yes. By the following week, before he would travel from Abuja to my home, my mother said, he don't come here, and I've given him go ahead. So I'm sorry. So what am I trying to say? Timing. You be patient. You pray, and then you now let him, the elder person, know that you are my all and all. If you say I should go and read a medicine, no problem. If you say I should go and read, no problem. So he will not begin to think that, make I not go destroy this boy's life. Or if this area is his area of talent, I think I should support him. I believe that if you let someone know his place in your life, that person will be careful not to hurt you. Do you understand? I think that is what my elder sister, made me, So you should bring respect first,
All right. So, Bamidele, in what way would an elder person speak to you or act towards you that makes you feel like they are condescending?
Okay, so basically, when the elderly one or the elder one wants to just try and prove a point, in that ignoring my own ideas and making it seem like it doesn't even make sense, or I don't have any opinion or any rights to actually speak up. Mm-hmm. So I think that's it for me.
Okay. So is it just the way they make you feel?
Yeah, and Probably the way they behave too. I think, like we all know, it's important that we lead by example. If the way you expect me to behave or the way you want me to treat other people is not the way you are doing so, then why are you telling me to do so? I mean, it's not, I don't believe it to be right, because which example exactly are you trying to tell me to follow? You have not created any template for me, so why should I listen to you when you don't even practice what you preach?
Okay, but what if you, by some divine orchestration, know, or you're inspired, and you know this person is doing this thing wrongly, but the older person is in a position of authority? How do you approach this person and say, sir, I think you are doing this the wrong way?
I think in that context or in that setting, for one, you are subject to the person's authority at that time. So you have to choose your words very, very wisely, so as not to put yourself inside trouble. So you have to choose your words.
But you are right.
Yes, you are right, but there's also a way to communicate what is right. There's also a way to communicate what is right. You can't just speak at every point in time just because you feel like you are right and the person is wrong. The one thing is, I believe this even goes for any kind of relationship, marriage-wise and everything. I think even if the person you are with, let me use relationship for example, I think that can best communicate what I'm trying to say. So even if your partner is wrong, you don't outrightly just come and say you are wrong like that. I believe it's safe and wise to first agree with the person's idea and say, okay, this is lovely, but why can't we do it this way? Or I have another idea. Would you like to hear it, sir? Or would you like to hear it, ma? It's just that simple, because the person you want to correct must not at any point feel disrespected, or else the person can, out of anger, mess you up. So you have to just choose everything you want to do. You have to play it safe and play it wisely.
All right. So how do you balance self-expression and respect?
Self-expression and respect.
Like, this is who I am.
Yeah, well, you just need to, no matter how you want to express yourself, like he said, you have to be wise with it. Wisdom profits. Like, it's so, they say if anyone needs wisdom, you should ask for it. Before you handle anything with your partner, with your elder people, anybody, your people in authority, your pastors, you have to act with wisdom. You have to act with wisdom. Like, see the case of Joseph and his brother, the way he told them that my own, yours is bowing before me. Like, what are you saying? Like, how do you tell us this? Maybe you had said it in a different way. I don't know how he would have told
I'm
them.
wondering how his father would have felt when
like,
he said,
how would that
even
be
the
bowing
sun and the moon. So the father and the mother.
Yeah, how would that be bowing to you? Like, but then that's the divine. He saw it. He was right about it. But telling his brothers, maybe there are some times where silence at times, you just keep quiet and allow things play out. Allow things.
But if, like the question I asked him, what if they're in the position of authority and what they are doing is undermining the lives of loads of people who are under their sphere of influence? And it's, you have this revelation, you have this rema. You say this, that this is not right.
Yeah. Well, you ask God to help you with wisdom to handle it. Seriously, because now so God give you to help you with how to tell the person in place of authority. Because you see, you are in cases where some young pastors will confront the older pastor and they will curse them, and then that curse would actually work on their lives.
Exactly.
Like, they would actually be miserable all their lives based on that curse. So you have to be wise in the way you can't be confrontational. If you think if you want to tell someone,
what if that's your personality?
No, that you can't. If that's your personality, then I don't think God would even give you the because patience. When they talk about all the virtues of the spirit. There's no being proud, being aggravative, being
Opinionated,
being opinionated. You have to be kind-hearted. Know how to
You are passionate.
Communicate.
know how to communicate. Know how to be
You are
peaceful
passionate about this.
Yeah, they say be peaceful with all men. Even if you know they are doing what is wrong, you have to still find a way to communicate it peacefully, not in front of everyone. Don't undermine them in the presence of everyone.
Yep.
Go behind, maybe go somewhere, talk to them in closed doors, and let them know, and give them, like Pastor rightly said, give them that respect that they actually that they are like the way they are. Just respect them. Tell them, see the way he told them, sir, you are whatever you say it is, but can you see it in this way? And with your prayer, God will definitely show them to that, or some way, or they would actually see that, oh, what this boy is saying is right. But imagine you just went at them and you're like, sir, what you are doing is wrong. You are this, you are that, you are not. Yes. Then you are not going at it in the right way.
And sometimes you may think you're right, but they are actually trying to help you. Okay, I want to say that yes, we are the younger generation, we are in the now, but then you can't you can't overemphasize, So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes you may think you're right, okay, but you're not. For instance, I wanted to join the army, I'm sorry to bring it up, after reading the biography of Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogu, I happen to be Chukwuma also, my name. So I said, the army. When I mentioned it at home, what? And they guided me. Okay, if not, I would have, out of sheer, yes, Chukwuma Nzogu, yes, the second Chukwuma is coming, I would have gone into something else. So what I want to say is that you may think you have it all together, but then the elder one is there to guide. Even if it is from God, like I said, be patient. I know someone whom God showed a vision. He brought it up, they knocked it down, he waited on it, and God still made it happen. So we should be patient. We should not think it must be what I said, it must be now,
Yeah. All right.
Another thing I'd like to say is, if you don't come in, like, I don't know how to put this, like, you are trying to bring up a new idea, or you're trying to, you put it to them like, okay, sir, give me an advice on this, like, on this topic.
I'm not a man of peace. I'm a man of war.
Yes. In fact, that I forgot to put in, that was what I actually did. I wrote a letter to my elder, I said, please be praying for me, blah, blah, blah. Everybody, the wife said, this one will Chukwuma the right letter on, maybe he don't see, So you can come in from that angle.
From that angle.
Advise me on this. What do you think I should?
Seeking their opinion.
Yes. It makes them to feel good.
Okay.
And,
It also puts them in your shoe.
Don't worry. There are some questions I'll ask you, but we'll do that after the break.
Disagreement and disrespect. And our problem is not a disagreement problem, and a problem isn't a diversity problem. Our problem is a disrespect problem. You see, when I disagree with you, we'll talk it out. I mean, we'll just sit there and say, okay. And by the way, we may never come to agreement on it, and that's okay too. So when I disagree with you, we'll talk it out. But if I disrespect you, we won't talk. We'll disagree often, but when we disrespect each other, it puts a wall between us. I'm finding that a lot of people have what I call a confirmation bias. In other words, they seek out to listen to only people they agree with. So there's a confirmation bias, and what we need to have is a collaboration bias. We need to seek out people that are different than us. We need to seek out people that do have a different perspective of us.
The hook, but that's not true. Forgiveness isn't about excusing their behavior. It's about refusing to be imprisoned by it ourselves. Like, if you don't forgive, you will stay bound to the offense. You become a hostage to the past, replaying an old wound like it's still happening. That's not justice, that's self-inflicted torment. The second obstacle is pride. And pride is like an armor we wear to avoid admitting we're wrong or to avoid going first. Now, ironically, that very armor becomes a cage. Pride disguises itself as strength, but it's often just fear dressed up as ego. The third obstacle is fear. Fear of rejection, fear of escalation, fear of being misunderstood. Whatever the fear is, if it's left unchecked, it becomes paralyzing. It keeps the hard conversations unspoken and past hurts unhealed. Unforgiveness clings to injury, pride resists reconciliation, and fear avoids resolution. These are not passive feelings. These are active decisions working against your progress. So if you want healing or resolution, then you have to confront what's inside you before you can fix what's around you. While this isn't always true, many times the conflict out there is often...
Welcome back. So, sir, now, I like the lines of thought you gave us that we started with. We now have to change the way things are being done. So how do we create a safe space now to allow the young to be able to interact with the old without offense being taken when none is meant in the first place?
I think number one is that we should create that space by having meeting, by talking. You know, when you look at the other time I mentioned Sabbath, the Jewish Sabbath.
Yes.
They sit together, they eat, okay? It's a time of interacting. You look at your children, you talk to them, you ask questions, okay? Now, I know that there are some parents that, due to their job, may not be available. So you create that time, even if it is once in a week. You should sit with your children. You should ask questions. You should talk to them. You should find out what they are going through or what, you know. So we should create, we shouldn't compromise that, no matter how choked up my day or my activities. I must create time to interact with my children. And that's number one, you know, I think, to me. You know.
Yeah, right. Bamdele, what do you feel? Should the other guy still apologize or they should just take the back seat?
Is it in creating a safe space now or just
Yes, in creating a safe space.
Okay, in creating a safe space, like I said earlier, I think there's a saying that goes, action actually speaks louder than words. So in as much as you even verbally apologize, let it show in your way of life or character, so to say. And in creating a safe space with the younger generation, I believe that the elder ones need to listen more. And one way to create a safe space is to not shoot down the ideas of the younger generation. Like, just, oh, what are you saying? I know better than you. You have not reached anywhere in life, all those kind of things, you know. And, you know, and that kind of...
because what an elder sees sitting down, even if you climb a 3-story building, you will not see it. Even if you use drone, you still will not see it.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
It's true. You might, well, I don't know what they are seeing though, but then the thing is, it's true, there's experience. I believe that's the idea of the saying.
Yeah, that's the place of experience.
So there is experience and it's true. But the thing is, sir, you will agree with me that there is nothing new under the sun. So everything that is happening has happened before. It's just happening in a different way.
Yeah.
So I believe that in the same way too, to instill the same principles, we can also use a different method.
Yeah.
Because things are changing. The young adults that cannot see what the elder is seeing, even if he climbs a tree, also know things the elders don't know because of the new dispensation. So yes. I do believe that if the elderly ones can listen more and try to understand where the child or where the younger one is coming from, you would even be able to communicate your own feelings better in that, okay, I see where you are coming from. I know and I understand what you mean by this. But okay, let's see how we can rub minds together. And that same way, the idea or ideology of the younger and older generations are breached.
All right, into 1 minute.
Yeah, like Pastor said, there needs to be, I believe it starts from the family actually. And then it permeates into the community, because in the family there needs to be to create a safe space in a way where they come together to discuss things in not, and parents don't have to be judgmental, or that's in that space. They should create like a veto-free zone, like where children can challenge. There are times like that. No, maybe not that time. Let's know that children can challenge they can question things, and you can give answers to it. So I also younger ones should learn how to write. Like writing letters in communicating. It shows you really. When they are reading those letters, it sinks deeper than when you're confrontational, you're talking about it. So, and then also having a spokesperson in the family. Like my mom is my spokesperson to my dad. So if I need to get anything done, I would first talk to her. Probably she would give me another. Maybe I've been thinking of approaching it in a different light. She would then give me another way to talk about it, and it always works. It has never failed me. So that's
All right. Thank you, everyone. It's been a wonderful episode for me here. I've learned. I hope you've learned at home. As much as possible, let's try to find ways, to mitigate and avoid disrespecting people while still, communicating with them. You can make your points. You can make yourself heard without disrespecting anyone. Well, as usual, I would ask you to join us on Dominion Broadcasts and enjoy the episodes.